lot more truth here than we're getting on the controlled mainstream garbage media. Mandy Joyce, a marine sciences professor at the University of Georgia, carefully chose her words about BP's deplorable dispersants, saying, quote, anything that requires oxygen will not be able to survive in that water. The food web is going to change. You could stymie the entire production level of the Gulf of Mexico. That's a very real possibility. Now, again, she was being very careful with her words there. BP's chemical dispersants contain 2-buto-hexyethanol, a compound that kills marine and wildlife, exactly the life of our cleanup measures would try to save. So they're using an ingredient that kills marine and wildlife, and they know that. They're doing it on purpose. BP's chemical dispersants currently being dropped by airplanes break the crude oil into tiny droplets that sink well below the water surface, where they form a giant cloud or plume, making it impossible to gather, as it is the obvious intention. Why would you even use this? Why would you want to break it up and disperse it and make it sink? That would be the last thing you'd want to do. What you should have done is lit the thing on fire, the cost of one match. When it first happened, the thing would still be burning, but how could it would have been burning. I don't care how much oil's coming up, it'll still burn. No, we couldn't do that. And with this poisonous plume creating a dead zone, currently estimated to be about the size of Delaware and Rhode Island combined, hidden at about 3,000 feet of water, no one can place an accurate figure on how much oil is actually gushed into the Gulf. We don't even know. We don't even have a clue. Can you imagine when all the dead sea life starts either coming to the surface or floating up on shore? Or the effects of that? Can you? I don't even think any of us can fathom what an absolute total abomination this is going to turn into. That it already is. And once this death-dealing plume reaches the large, rapidly moving loop current, and it's already done that. I believe it's already done this. This oily cloud of doom could swing toward Florida and Cuba, killing the coral reefs and all the marine life there. This is horrific. According to Stephen Howden, an oceanographer at University of Southern Mississippi, the loop current could drag the oxygen-destroying cloud into shallower waters, thus potentially impacting coral reefs and fisheries near Florida's coast. Another famous person for misleading and understated remarks is, of course, Barack Obama. There can be no denying that Obama and his EPA regulators are accomplices to the crimes in the Gulf of Halliburton, Transocean, and British Petroleum, or BP, by allowing these perpetrators of the disaster to be the ones in charge of the capping and cleanup efforts. And instead of extricating the oil company executives and government bureaucrats who dumped over 500,000 gallons of toxic dispersants into the Gulf, you should be arresting them for crimes against humanity, not to mention marine life and wildlife. Additionally, Obama's teleprompter writers had the ignorance to state the ridiculous, where he said, quote, I know BP is committed to pay for the response effort, and we will hold them to their obligation. Right. It's never going to happen. The very obvious point is, Mr. Obama, you should have saved the Gulf of Mexico by making sure Transocean, Halliburton, and British Petroleum had nothing to do with the cleanup efforts, rather than making them pay to turn the Gulf into a dead zone. Obama went on to say many parties, including the federal government, should accept blame for the disaster. He stopped short of saying he himself should be in prison for his part in destroying the Gulf, though. He says, quote, there is oil leaking. We need to stop it. And we need to stop it as soon as possible, said Obama. Right. You liar. Then he says it's not a leak, that ends by saying it's not a leak, Mr. Obama. It's a volcanic gusher spewing out an Exxon Valdez every 2 to 4 days, at least. We don't even know the half of it.